Now in today's video, we're going to talk about air purification. And in many cases, air purification is overlooked, it's underestimated, and frankly, it's underinvested in. If you are 3D printing, you're going to want to have a air purification system. If you are laser engraving, you're going to definitely want a air purification system. If you are going to be UV printing, you'll want an air purification system. Matter of fact, any kind of maker activity, you'll want to confirm if something that will absorb any of the pollutants that are coming out of the process that you're going through can be taken care of by some type of air purification process. And today we're taking a look at this solution right here. This is from APPLEAIR, and this is the APPLEAIR F40D. The F40D is an air purifier that has a hose that connects to this unit, and it can connect to a variety of solutions like the ones I mentioned. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a closer look at the product. We're going to see why is it essential, and also talk about the incredible lifespan that you get from the actual filters themselves. Let's get right to it. Now, this air purifier has a lot of capabilities when it comes to air purification. And I have to say that there's a variety of scenarios that you're going to be using this in. And primarily, you're looking for dust, fumes, and odor, right? But this has 7 filters. And those 7 filters are going to allow you to operate and work on materials like acrylic, ABS, plywood, standard wood, MDF, leather. Think about if you're working with tumblers, any kind of metal. If you're looking at UV type, I would say printers, if you're also working with 3D printers, this is going to be something that is going to work really well. Now, this comes with a couple things. First of all, it does come with a fantastic user remote right here that you can use to control it. So you'll notice it has a power button right here, and then basically has other controls right here. It does have a timer, and then it also has, an up-down which you can control with this. And you're going to see this in a couple seconds, right? The other thing that it comes with is one of the longest hoses that I've ever seen. So you notice the hose is coming over here. It's going all the way around, snaking around my fiber, all the way up to here. We're talking about 16 feet. That is a long hose, and that allows me to place this anywhere in our shop. Now, let's talk about the filters, because the number one question I get when it comes to any kind of air purification is, how long will the filters last? Now, in many cases, I see going cheap on the actual unit itself turns out to be more expensive in the long run because the filters don't last long and the cost of the filters are high. With this one, that's not the case. You're talking about a 6 to 12 month lifespan for the primary filter. That's the very first one. It has a secondary filter after that, which is called the fine particle filter. That's 6 to 12 months. The third filter, which is your primary fiber filter, 6 to 12 months again. And then you have a secondary fiber filter, which is going to give you 6 to 12 months. So think about all of those 4 levels of filtration that we just talked about. Now you have a combined HEPA filter, which is your last filtration barrier, and that is 5, 6, and 7, so it has a combination of 3 filters built in. That too is going to be 6 to 12 months. But what my experience has actually shown is, because you have those filters that are kind of like layers, it's like a cake, by the time you make it to the bottom level, you typically get longer life because the other ones have to get clogged first. And I find myself on a regular occasion, like changing out my primary and secondary filter more. So that $20 or that 6 to 12 month investment that you're looking at, which by the way costs only $20 a filter, that's the one that I see you using the most depending on the material that you're engraving. So let's talk about price, because I kind of gave you a peek into that. Filters 1 and 2, the first 2, are $20 each. Filter 3 is $45. Filter 4 is $65, and the last one, which I call the mega filter, that is going to be $195. Now, the cool thing about it is that, again, when I've been using filters, I typically find myself, doing the pre-filter, the secondary filter. I haven't yet made it to the last filter, which means that lifespan is probably going to be longer depending on the material that you're doing. If you are kind of like embossing, let's say, slate, which is very dusty, that's going to eat up your life of your filter. If you're going to be doing a lot of metals, when it comes to embossing metals, that's also really heavy. That's going to clog your filters quick. But if you're doing things like acrylic, if you're doing things like wood, if you're doing other type of materials, if you're using this with a UV printer or 3D printer, this thing is going to last a very long time. And the bottom line is that at $245 for the full set, you probably will not need a full set at any given time. At the same time, you're probably going to be changing out the filters as you go. Now, let's look at the different power levels that you have. And you'll take a look at this guy over here. That's my cap. And you notice that even at the lowest level right here, this is not glued on there. That's basically how much that guy is sucking the volume. So you can see how much it's moving it at this lowest level. So I'm going to go ahead and increase it and just watch that guy over there. So that's now the second level. Look at how it lifted that tag immediately. I'm going to go to the next. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the remote for this because this is kind of cool. Watch the next level. Notice that tag over there. Notice that tag again. It's still sucking it. And again, we could be looking at smoke, but I thought that being able to see how much is being pulled in and how that thing is not even moving is pretty cool. And I am only on the second level. I'm going to move this again so you can see there's no moving it. We'll do it one more time. It just goes back. That's how much suction, even at only level 2. I'm going to go level 3, level 4, and notice I'm still on level 3, but I'm in the 4th setting, 5, and on the 4th major setting. A little bit higher, higher, and this is the highest setting, 5.1. This, notice how that tag is. That tag is like, wants to be absorbed completely by this filter. So again, you know, it is super powerful. If I were to put, for example, any kind of cloth here, this would just get sucked in. So you're not going to have any kind of smoke that is going to be lingering in your shop because that guy is going to just suck it out so powerfully. And then all I have to do is just lower it again. All I'm doing is pressing the remote. And if I turn it off, it's off. This button is your primary. I'm going to turn it on. That's how fast you get to turn it on. And then you'll notice how that tag is going to immediately, at the lowest level, you can see how much suction it's doing, and it's going to get caught in there any second. So again, great powerful solution, and again, great filter life. All right, so I have the filters out because I just wanted to show you all the ones that we're talking about. So this, if we think about, this is the order in which things are taking place. The hose that basically is sucking up all of your pollutants basically comes to here. You can see the dirty area here. After it goes through this area, then it basically goes through this guy. After it goes through this guy, then it goes to this guy. And after it goes to this guy, it goes to this guy right here. So these are all the filters in the order that you would expect. The very, very last one is going to be this one right here. And this is the one that I said is the combined one, as you can see there. This is the combined one. And the way all these get placed is that they're resting here in the very back in that order as I showed you. Let me go ahead and put this back together so you can see. So that guy goes in there. This one goes in here. This one sits right there. And this last one that you see right here slides in to this slot right here. So guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.